I've never done reaction content, but I just need to on this because it's just so fucking cool. All right, so quick review for people who have never played Halo, don't understand the genre, or who have never read any of the books or comics or anything like that. So Halo is basically humans uh, advanced after years of strife and civil war and just nuclear problems back on Earth, and to both expand across the stars and gather new resources to make Earth better, but also just to get rid of excess population. With the new this technology called a Shaw Fujikawa slip space drive, they invent faster light travel by going outside of our realm into another dimension and traveling across it at near light speed, allowing us to colonize distant worlds. At some point, we get to something like 800 worlds or something like that. 800 colonized worlds. Colonized being the big word, because what does colonized really mean? Um, Little bit of civil strife between the colonies very far away from Earth and the colonies very close to Earth. There's a power gap, both in economic standing, but just also in terms of like life expectancy and yeah, just any colonies under any colonial power at any point in history. Just look at that and just say, oh yeah, that. But in space. So not great, not horrible, but things happen. There's a bit of a civil war, military buildup for the United Nations Space Command, which is basically Earth's super military power. Uh, they go through quite a few years of strife, and then a colony on a distant world goes offline, and it's important. Provides a lot of food, strategic resources. Not great if it's gone. So they go out and invite it, and the colony is glassed, which is basically bombarding the surface of a planet with the plasma-based energy, ionizing and basically burning away all living matter. Planet is basically lava, ash, and, well, glass. Quote, is this like silicon texture stuff that covers the surface after it's been bombarded by plasma, giving a glassy surface, hence glassing. People that did this turned out to be something called the Covenant of High Charity. They are a group of aliens that believe in something called the Great Journey, which is the divine passage they believe an ancient civilization known as the Forerunners. Yeah, this explanation kind of ran away from me. I'm sorry. But basically, they go to war, and humanity is vastly outnumbered, vastly outmanned, and outgunned. The tech difference is so vast. And this is a humanity that has fast and light travel, has nuclear bombs, has a military that can be anywhere in days, and has the ability to literally shatter planets. They have created AI to run basic systems because they couldn't be bothered to have humans do it for them, because it would take too long. They're outclassed with all of that. Yeah, not great. So basically, it's one-sided genocide. Don't get me wrong, humanity puts up a great fucking fight. They throw hands hard against these guys. Pound for pound, on the ground, humans can hold pretty well overall, but it's still a desperate fight because they're just outnumbered and outclassed and outgunned. So even if they can win on the ground, the Covenant just glass the planets till there's nothing left. It is, without a doubt, horrid. Humanity loses billions and hundreds of worlds within years. And they put up one hell of a fucking fight. But that's still not enough. And I'm assuming, since this is Halo-Remember, I haven't watched the whole thing. Watched the first 15 minutes and I was like, I'm gonna stream to this because I want to talk about it. But I'm assuming it's during Reach. I'm assuming it's on Reach and stuff like that. It's going to be fun. I'm gonna break it down as much as possible. So, like, if you want to watch the whole thing yourself, the links are in the description. I posted them a couple times. It's on a pinned comment. Please go subscribe. If you feel like donating, check out his Patreon. He does amazing work. Let's get into it, okay? So, where are we going to open up to? Oh, Banshees, Seraphs, a lot of Banshees, Space Banshees, and Covenant ships. Okay. So, cruisers, and is that a cruiser? That would be a cruiser, right? And then corvettes, right? Because I remember we boarded one of those in Halo Reach. Yeah, those are corvettes, I think. Okay, a lot of corvettes. Now, just look at the scale of this fight. Like, honestly, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Well, you had 17 and 18. You had like 18 ships against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Covenant ships. 18 to 6, and they are getting their asses kicked. Not great. But this is also what I meant. Like, their technological advantage is just, like, so superior. Covenant ships have shields. Human ships don't. It's just armor. And it's titanium. We're talking, like, thick armor. Titanium. Which is basically fucking bulletproof. Getting ripped off and destroyed by these weapons. Ooh. Okay, so I want to... Hang on, scroll back. Nope, too far. So those are Banshees. They're probably doing a fighter run or a bombing run to try and destroy some of those gun positions on these frigates, which I think these are either Paris... Yeah, I think these are Paris-class frigates, which are pretty fucking powerful. They're light frigates, I think, but they pack a punch. So don't think frigates, corvettes, cruisers. It's different than that because one of these frigates is equal in size to a Covenant corvette, and that cruiser could probably stand toe to length from nose to stern. 3 or 4 of them. And then up here, where is it? Right there. These are sabers, which are what they would have been the next generation of space combat crafts. So you have long swords, and you have sabers, and you have trident fighters, I think. I think they're tridents. Yeah. So sabers are basically fast, intercepting attack craft. They carry missiles, and they have 2 nose-mounted chain guns that can rip through enemy fighters, and those missiles are no joke. You take out the shield of one of those Seraphs, it takes like 2 missiles, boom, that thing's gone. They can do some pretty heavy damage against basically anything the Covenant could throw at them, but they were expensive. They were new tech because they actually had shielding. So their shielding, from what I can remember, and lore-wise, is based off the same kind of technology that the Spartans, which you'll see later, I assume in this video, is based off of, which was based off Kigyar, stolen Kigyar energy shields, which, while not as good as some of the other shield technology the Covenant had, when we reversed engineer it, which is what we are really good in the Halo universe. If there's one thing humans are really good in the Halo universe, it's not giving up land, having courage in the face of insurmountable odds, and being able to reverse engineer technology way out of our league impressively well. But these sabers are probably going to either intercept more of those, or they're going to try and attack some of those Seraphs, which are heavy fighter bomber kind of things, but they're also troop transports. So if they latch onto some of these Paris, you're going to have boarding parties, and boy, you don't want that in the middle of combat. Well, you don't want them at all, but in the middle of combat, you really don't want that. And that... Oh, too far. That is a Mac gun, which is kind of a stupid nomenclature because Mac stands for Magnetic Accelerator Cannon. So calling it a Mac gun is, well, it's a cannon, not a gun, but also it's quite powerful. So it runs the length of the entire ship. So what you're seeing up here, right around here, I don't know if my cursor. This is the exit barrel. This is the exit of the barrel. This is the face. Runs the entire length of this ship. Basically, what happens is you load a cartridge up here, which there are a couple different types. There's like a tungsten steel rod, there's like a high explosive round, and there's a depleted uranium round, I think. All of which are powerful rounds, and they puncture. And it basically is launched, as it launched forward, there are these coils that are electrically charged and magnetized that pull it forward. So as it spins through the chamber, every coil it reaches, it gets faster and faster and faster, and then it's just launched out of the tube of this thing at incredibly fast speeds. Now, for it to be fired, it needs the entire ship to angle and face what it's firing at, because again, it runs the length of the ship. So not only is it incredibly powerful, but it's also incredibly expensive because you have to charge every coil. The rounds are heavy and expensive to make. And it takes time and precision, and it takes literal supercomputers or a shipboard AI, to run the calculations to even get an accuracy within the range of like 90%. But once they hit, they will puncture through anything. These things can go through shields. Covenant shields, which is what made them super effective, because even though the Covenant had shields that stopped regular missiles, bullets, rockets, anything like that, the Covenant shields could stop nuclear devices. This thing is so powerful, so fast, and so heavy hitting, it could puncture through the shielding, tear itself through the enemy ship, the Covenant ship, and come out the other side and continue going for miles. These things were cool. And there's things called Supermacs, which are basically orbital platforms, where a Mac, think 5 times the size of this, sits in orbit of a planet and fires those things at incoming ships. Like, it's super fucking powerful. And we're seeing... By the way, these are Paris-class frigates. They're in a wolf pack formation at several points throughout this video, if you pay attention. Going all the way back to the beginning. Very quick, because I just want to break this down. So you've got... This looks like 2 different ones here. And you got another one here and another one here. So these ones are destroyed. This would have been like the immediate... probably recon or scouting fleet. So here, you see they're in wolf pack formations, which is basically they group up into small groups and do coordinated fire against targets, just like in real life, with squads on the ground or tanks or in the Navy and stuff like that, where a bunch of smaller, less powerful ships coordinate their fire, or smaller units coordinate their fire against bigger targets for maximum effect. And you can even see right here, I didn't even notice it before, this is the shield activating. It just got punctured from around by the looks of it. Scroll back just a second. So that was a missile. It hit the shield. And see, as the shield disapparates across, it removes the force that was hit. Basically ending, its power. God damn, I love Halo. God. And you can see, I think that was either a longsword or a saber just did controlled fire, and here you see another rocket. By the way, these are oh god, what are they called? They're not Hellfire missiles. That's the real life thing. They're specially designed missiles that, like, when it comes into impact, it breaks apart into several smaller. It's like a MIRV, almost. And even one of these can disable a UNSC frigate. So just think of the firepower as being leveled on this thing with that knowledge. And it is not even being hurt. It is slugging these rockets off like it's nothing. And you see, they just fired another salvo of missiles probably coming in to hit this one or this one. This one actually looks like it kind of got hurt there. Maybe its shields are either weakened or was already damaged by the time it started getting engaged in this fight. And that was a direct hit of some kind of plasma or laser battery. And then boom, boom, boom. So this is what I mean by Wolfpack. Like, you have several smaller ships here firing on probably one or two or one targets, probably one target. Try and do as much damage as possible to knock out ships. Basically to lower the number of targets that are able to return fire so they can then move on to other targets. Basically whittling the enemy down over time. Very slowly, very painfully. And, yep, here we go. So they hit 3 targets, and boom! See, this is what I mean. Like, scroll back. I think it was this one, this fire. Boom! It hits it. It hits over here, and I think it also hits this one. And you'll see the second round hits. No shield. That one got deflected off a shield. I think that one may have punctured. Or may have also been deflected by shield. It's hard to tell because it's on the other side of the ship. But that one went right through. Boom, boom, and you got secondary explosions here. This one also got hit, but as you can see, the light show going on here. This one also was deflected. This one shot for the Mac was absorbed. The second shot went right through and is now cascading failing because the round punctured all the way through. You can actually see the little hole here, I think, where it went through. Boom, yep, there. So it just went boom. This is its entrance. That's its exit. It just ripped through, and it's now basically going to be hard to fight. It's going to have to try and get its shields back up while also defending. And now, because of that damage, not only is it going to have to repair itself, but also it has to continue returning fire on incoming ships, because now that it's damaged, the other ships have a chance to hit it with their rockets and their and their bombarding cannon things. Basically, beat the shit out of it. Oh, I'm sorry, we just missed 2 things. Scroll just a little bit back. So that is an energy beam, a plasma energy beam, or I think it's called an energy lance. Cruisers, and I think corvettes, if they put all of their energy behind it. Someone is moving in next door. I can hear it. Can fire these, and these things can destroy. This is not the main cannon. The main cannon of a cruiser is actually on the bottom part, and it's a glassing cannon, as we talked about earlier with the destruction of planets. But these things can devastate anything in their way. They can melt through titanium, which is the main defense of all UNSC frigates and ships in general at this point in time. They can fire multiple at a time. See, that one fired one after another, and then this one's firing both at the same time. This one was also launching plasma torpedoes, which is a guided ball of plasma, which then impacts, digs into a ship, and burns it out. God, and it can also explode like the Needler. And then this one's also firing, and also firing a third laser. He's really pissed. So they're firing more rockets. That one just took a hit of some kind. Ooh, and there's the plasma lance going. The energy lance. Sorry, I can't even get my statements correct. Just searing off one of the engine pods of that poor frigate, followed by these plasma torpedoes, which are gonna impact it and probably these other ships here and do massive amounts of damage. A single plasma torpedo, if fired correctly, can disable a frigate. So they have to be very careful. Ooh, and that's what I'm talking about. There. That one also, I think, just took another one. Ooh. Ooh, and that one also. So that Wolfpack, for just damaging one ship, not even killing a corvette, but just for damaging one, just lost probably 4 or 5 ships. 1, 2, 3, 4. These two may actually still be fighting. That one completely lost an engine pod. This one seems to be exploding in front of us. Plus, you got that one in the background on fire. Yep. That whole fight is just there. See, that's the danger of Covenant ships. Like, they're so powerful in comparison. Are these crew... so we've got another Wolfpack here. Are they going to reinforce them? Or do they have their own little Oni mission? Oh, they're hovering over the planet. I'm assuming ODSTs then? Yeah! So ODST stands for Orbital Drop Shock Trooper. There are hundreds, if not multiple hundreds, of companies and battalions of these guys across the UNSC's held space. Usually have like several squads dedicated to every frigate, if possible, along with a Marine group to just help with boarding parties and also to land on planets and be quick reaction forces. Quite smart. These are SOV pods. I don't know the full acronym of SOV, but it means like single occupant reentry vehicle or something like that. And it's basically, its job is to get you from space to the planet by launching you through a tube or just outside of a waiting wing, depending on the model of the UNSC ship you're dropping from. And you then fire rockets to blast through the atmosphere of the planet you're dropping on. And after you're through and at a certain distance from the ground, you pop a hatch off the top, which basically acts as an umbrella. Fire vertical thrust to slow you down just slower than it would take to crumple and kill you. Smack into the planet. The door that's lowering here, you see them lowering here and here and here. Will then blast off with primed explosives to knock it out of the way, and then you charge out and fight the enemy. The ODSTs are basically actually, I don't know what their real world equivalent. I want to say Delta Force or maybe Rangers. Probably Airborne Rangers would be a good example. But it's just to a whole nother level because these guys, because depending on the pod, like the average pod is made for only like re-entry of a planet, but there are specialist pods that can be dropped on the edge of solar systems, and you are guided by gravity to a designated planet, and then you come in through natural means and land on the planet. Those are like Oni headhunter missions, but they work, and it's terrifying how powerful these guys are. And these guys are better than the average Marine. These are, as some people like to refer to it in the Halo community, these are the Marines that pass the driving and shooting courses of the Marine Corps. They're better than the average Marine. They are given better training, better armor, better weapons. A lot of their weapons are slightly better versions of what the Marines and Navy are given and the Army, but they usually come with like advanced recon sights, silencers, specialized compact pistols. They have a really cool visor that allows them to like see in different spectrums, including night vision. They have like a full-on heads-up display that not all Marines have. Depending on your designation as a Marine, you won't have like a headset. You will just have a neural link, either in your helmet or in your head, depending on your job, that will link to your weapons, allowing you to have an ammo counter and check the vitals of your squad and stuff like that. But for the overall part, these guys are better than them. They're also given a dumbed down version of the serums that Spartans are given. So they are, not only are they better trained, better equipped, and just overall better than the average soldier, they're also given enhancements that make them slightly faster, maybe even slightly stronger and more agile. Now, it's not a big boost, but it is a slight edge that can save them in a fight. They're also, almost all of them is probably certified combat medic or a combat lifesaver, maybe not a medic, combat lifesaver, where they know how to use the basics of their medical kits that they're given to every soldier to how to save their life. They didn't just take the 3-hour course that probably every Marine's given. They know it probably routinely because they've just been drilled so much, they've fought so much. They are, in a lot of ways, both the best force, like seen as humanity's some of most elite, and they're also feared by the Covenant, at least maybe not as much as Spartans, but just as good, because they strike at night, they're stealthy, and they are quick, and they are good at their job, just like most Marines, but just with slightly better training and slightly better gear. They are great. And see, this is what I mean by that. That pod closes. It becomes airtight because you're going to be dropping from atmosphere. And to have that pod, then the front doors of these pods removed, it blasts off. Yep. So this frigate is a Paris class, so it doesn't have a tubes network. It just hangs them from this giant bar, which then drops them. I'm assuming maybe engines are going to fire, and then they'll get released after they get up to speed. Where are you guys going? Yep. So they're dropping, instead of all at once, they're dropping in order, probably to keep them from crashing as they head out the door in case they have some problems. You can see UNSC here, the ODST helmet, white standing for either their battalion number or their squad area. He's got some added ammo pouches on top of his breastplate, which is also made out of a titanium ceramic mix, I think. It's some kind of titanium iron metal, and then a specialized resin base that goes on it to help against plasma. It's not great, but it's better than nothing. You can see their... Oop. See his face hidden almost by the discoloration of the visor. And this is probably... How many we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is probably like a company, probably. And as I said, they just come through the atmosphere, launching with jets behind them. Launching them into the atmosphere. Coming into a city. A city that... I don't know if it's just the smoke, but it looks like it's seen some better days over here. And over here. And maybe over here. That could just be the angle, or the way the city is set up, because of the smoke. But that looks like it could be a fire, and that building looks like it's leaning this way. I assume we'll probably see later. And this is the canopy chute I was talking about, where it comes out after a certain distance, basically adds as like a catch. Some of them have rockets on them or underneath them to slow down their speed. Green light. You've passed the threshold. You're probably going to be coming in on their landing zone soon. Yep. And you know the music. Time to dance. Once that screen, the visor goes black, he's ready to fight. Another little tidbit for the ODSTs is one of their mottos is one of their nicknames is Hell Jumpers, and their motto is feet first into hell. Their job as Hell Jumpers is not to go into hell, but it's to make sure that it's filled with the enemy by the time they get there. And they do an incredible job doing it. If you can't tell, I am very much a ODST fan. I love my Spartans, but the ODSTs are, in my mind, a little bit closer to a character at times, because they're just regular humans. They have better armor, better gear than the average Marine, but the average human Marine, and they have some enhancements, but they are nowhere near as powerful as Spartans. Spartans are near godlike in some instances in comparison to the average human and the average ODST. Bad example, but it's a good example of why the ODSTs and Spartans don't always work too good together. Is that Master Chief, when he was just off of augmentation, was put in a ring with several ODSTs in a fight. The ODSTs were basically there to beat the shit out of him, and in return he killed one of them and critically wounded the other two. That is without the armor, and that is with him having the augmentations for only a few hours, if I remember correctly. Master Chief is, of course, slightly better than the average Spartan, but that is a good, level gap to talk about when you're talking about ODSTs to Spartans. It's just he is not used to his abilities yet. He doesn't know his strength, he doesn't know what he can accomplish, and he doesn't have the suit which amplifies all of that. And he was still able to kill and critically wound 2 other ODSTs. And because of that, rumors run rampant in ODST circles, and sometimes they ain't so happy with Spartans. But when it comes down to fighting the Covenant, all of that goes to the sideline. They can brag and joke and hate each other behind the lines, but when it's time to put your bodies on the front line, they are willing to do what is necessary for humanity. And that is also a very good show, I think, for both Spartans and ODSTs. Another thing to talk about is that this rivalry is almost entirely one-sided because the Spartans, for the most part, don't give a shit. Their Spartan 2s, which were brainwashed as children and basically put through augmentation by force, are basically children soldiers grown up and indoctrinated to fight. Spartan 3s, depending on their generation, which batch they were taken as young as 6 or 7, I think, and as old as 13. So they were orphans of war, and they were given dumbed down modifications and dumbed down armor, and they still don't care for the most part what the ODSTs think, because they're there for revenge against the Covenant and against the insurrectionists, the humans that are fighting the UNSC. They're there to kill them. They're there to fight them. They don't give a shit what the ODSTs think. And got the Marines in some kind of fallback position from the looks of the lasers going this way. Or maybe they're going this way. I can't tell. Oh, no, they're going this way. So they're charging forward. They're not in retreat yet. They're fighting. Ooh, okay, so we got some kind of explosion from the fire. It looks like it was some kind of human weapon, probably a frag grenade killing off some enemies, or maybe it was a firebomb or something. You've got 2 Marines here. This is definitely reach-based armor. And the fact that it says Remember, it's a Halo fan animation called Remember, makes me really think it's it's a Halo animation. We've got an old-styled Warthog with a minigun. You've got 2 Marines here. You got another one there. I think another one coming up. They've got the Reach assault rifles, which is the AC 37B. If I remember correctly, it's the Army variant. It's got a shallow mag of only 32 rounds, but packs a punch, every one, because it's 7.62, by the way. That's one powerful fucking rifle round, by the way. The sound of that rifle going off. Ooh. Okay. For me talking, I missed something right there. He's down. Down. You got 2 more coming in. He just got shot by, I think that was a needle round. It looked like a needle round. No, that was it was either random fire from some kind of plasma rifle, or it was a plasma carbine. Probably a plasma carbine. Bet there's a jackal. He's immediately trying to triage. He's falling back probably because he went forward and his position that he was running towards is no longer viable. He is laying down one hell of a suppressing fire. Oh, now that was a plasma rifle. That was a plasma carbine. That is sniping or a designated marksman rifle of some kind. It's not fun. He was doing a freaking good job. By the way, yep, there he is, Jackal. These guys, Kigyar, there are 2 different kinds of them. You've got the Jackals, which have these shields like this. And you've got the Jackal like this. There's also, but these are technically the same subrace. You have another race of Jackals called the Skirmishers, which are have a lot more feathered, a lot more sleek, a lot faster. They tend to have like shielding on their arms, either carrying designated marksman or sniping weapons, or quick fire weapons like plasma pistols and needlers, just like these guys. But they are basically, the reason we call them skirmishers, because it's like what they get called in the game, but also because they skirmish. They're fast, they're quick, they don't stay in one spawn, they constantly move. They're very good. The jackals, they move in groups. They're either blocking or sniping groups, and as we just saw, they are moving forward to try and take this area that the Marines are trying to hold down. And we've got some more grunts. So the jackals are called Kigyar. That's their name. That's their actual name. But the UNSC Marines, the grunts on the ground, call them jackals and skirmishers because that's what they act like. The Ungoi, which are these little guys, are called the grunts because they're basically cannon fodder. They are sent in... Did the stream freeze? Oh, the stream looked like it froze there for a second. Doesn't matter. They're basically cannon fodder. They're sent into just mass wave against their enemies, hence cannon fodder. They're often viewed as cowardly and scared easily, which, you know, makes sense, but in groups they can be invigorated to fight harshly and very effectively. And they also breed rapidly, which allows the Covenant to use them just as their name, cannon fodder, for easy mass labor. And they are terrifying because they, despite, you know, being called grunts and how you view them in the games, they're actually quite tall. They're like 3 feet, 3.5 feet tall. But I mean, I may not sound tall, but when you've got a dozen or so of these 3 feet tall gremlins with the plasma pistols or needlers charging at your position, it's a different position. It's a different feeling that's probably taken over you right there. Oh, that's a needler. You're about to be jumped, buddy. Go ahead. Yeah, I hate that feeling. That is the sound of death. So needlers are fast, almost submachine gun-like things, or there's something called a needle rifle, which is a long-range version, precision, designated marksman-like weapon. I hate them because in the Halo universe, they are fucking deadly. They're almost more deadly than plasma weapons because of what they can do. They penetrate and they explode over time, which not only in the game does that affect your ability to heal because you can't heal or increase your shields until they're gone, but it also means that if you get stuck with enough of them, when they explode, it causes a super change or a super explosion, which does that. Yeah. Ugh. Frickin' jackals. Like, seriously, look at them. Ugly creatures. Looks like a jackal. Or bird of scavenger prey. What's the word? Not bird of prey. Scavenger birds. I'll remember later. Oh, and there's the ODSTs ready to kick your asses. I hope you are ready for death. Boom! Alright. Okay. So, like we said before, they come into the ground basically just shy of shattering and crumpling. So you dig a hole in the ground and basically your pod stays up. And then, as we're about to see, the front of this pod just launches off and the ODST trooper just freaking jumps out and immediately starts gunning. These guys have no chill. They're so freaking badass. Yep, just immediately leveling. So this is the SMG. As you can see, it has a reticle, which is connected to their visor HUD, so they can aim properly and aim down their sight and actually zoom in. And also it has a silencer here. These things, despite being subsonic, are very heavy hitting. I would say it's like a personal defense weapon, like the P90, where it may be a slower round, but it's a heavy round that can just puncture through armor, just rip it to shreds. And here they all come charging up as a group in some kind of V formation. He got hit.
Clear to engage!
Pushing. And we've got some air support. So we got Pelicans, which is the workhorse of the UNSC, and Falcon? Yeah, Falcon. So these chain guns are mighty powerful. They're actually one of only a few weapons that these things can carry, but they carry a lot. They can carry a lot if necessary. Their combat loadouts are actually quite impressive. Missile pods, chain gun lasers, basically a version of a space torpedo. They can do it all, and they can do it all while carrying a shit ton of Marines back here. I think each one of these can carry up to like 20 Marines, which is basically nearly 3 squads worth of Marines. It's impressive. Oh, and we've got Spartan. Looks like Spartan 3. Oh, and an ODST helmet. Oh, that looks like we're gonna have some ghost company.
Enemy spotted.
Alright, I just want to quickly go over this little team here. We've got a guy with a shotgun. It looks like some kind of grenade launcher here. An assault rifle. I'm assuming if he's got an assault rifle, he's either got a DMR or a pistol. He's got a sniper rifle. He's also got a assault rifle. So we've got 2 mid, close range, and long range. That's impressive. You are the heavy hitter, I take it, right here. You don't give a fuck. You're just standing instead of sitting. What I'm liking in the background is not only like the detail of their armors and everything like that, and the cockpit itself, but I'm hearing chatter in the background from the other planes. The Pelicans, sorry.
Enemy spotted.
Now that's actually a really cool part right there, is that it spins around. I didn't know it did that. Time to drop, boys!
Go, go, go!
Let's go!
Just... I want to watch it for a second and then talk about it, but there's so much I want to talk about!
Go, go, go!
Let's go!
So the man jumps down. That sound, almost to me, sounds like his shields popped from the height, which is very telling of just how high they were and how high he didn't give a shit. Instantly drops down, one taps this grunt.
Go, go, go!
Let's go!
Just with gravity force alone, just knocks that fucker back. Shotgun off. Oh, he's got a pistol. Okay, that makes more sense. So I gotta let a little bit play out so we can talk about it. It's not just me dissecting every second, but I just want to keep talking. Alright, so see the battle in the sky still happening. You got Pelicans on fire, still trying to return fire as the Banshees rip them apart. I'm surprised they didn't have like longsword or saber support of some kind. So, alright. So he's definitely sniper setup. He's got the June setup. He's got spare sniper rifle rounds strapped to his arm. He's got the heads up long distance visor setup here. By the way, Spartans, just like ODSTs, have sensors in their helmets that allow them to sync up with the smart lenses of their weapons. So pistols, snipers, certain like regular rifles and shotguns and SMGs and stuff like that can be zoomed in and continually fired while aiming down the scope, so allowing for a higher precision fights. It's just super cool. They're doing a little buddy system here, and I don't like that, using the shield for them to fight. Oh, something you don't see very often in the games because of balancing issues is that the Jackals do actually use the plasma rifles as handguns. See, here's the difference in size. See, the plasma rifle here is actually misnomed. It's actually an SMG, not a rifle. Which some SMGs can be considered rifles. But what I mean, in version of the game, it's considered more of an SMG than it is a rifle. But they're using, for them, it's almost a two-handed weapon in size comparison. For accuracy, he'd need to put down the shield to continue firing. But for the elites and brutes and just like the generally bigger allies of the Covenant, they hold that with one hand and use it almost like a pistol in their effectiveness. It's just a nice little homage to the books and the comics where they talk about the Jackals using more of the Covenant weapons. In the games, you don't see it as often because of balancing issues and just overall gameplay. But it's nice to see it here because it's more lore accurate. I hate it because it's being smart, but they're using this little plasma shield as a defense to scope out and possibly retreat or maybe return fire. So we're gonna find out what's gonna happen here in a second. Go to town! Alright, yes! Spartans kick ass! Alright, so he just comes charging in. He's like, get the fuck out of my way. He's the Kool-Aid man gonna knock down this wall. He ain't waiting. He's got places to be. You know? He don't wait. He got things to do, people to kill, things to do. No fucking chill. Just comes in and just smacks them back with a kick. Boom! Full on charge, knocks them into more grunts. They're down. And then boom! That was a skirmisher, by the way. You know you couldn't really see it, but the armor type, that was the skirmer, the other version of a jackal. I'm sure we'll see more of them because this is Reach. But just like boom! So he knocks them out, just dies them. And then one-shots a jackal, and then he immediately goes for his rifle, for his grenade launcher. A little pop of the sight, and then the laser popping up, so like you know where he's aiming. And then boom! And then kills the pile of grunt and jackals that he just forced them into with the grenade. I love it! It's just so nice. Boom! He just got two with one shot!
They're breaking! Push him back!
Alright, so I want to talk about this real quick. So he instantly takes a seat, readies his weapon, and just instant fires. So, just like I said, rifles, pistols, a lot of the weapons that the UNSC employs, I should say, to the various different military groups under its branch, the snipers have a smart scope on it, allowing for 4 and 8 times zoom, which is hooked up to his helmet here. especially with the scope. But it's a nice little touch that when he's shouldering, he is still looking down the sight, implying that he is still aiming at exactly where he wants instead of just shouldering it like you would see in some movies. Because it speaks to perfection of not like waiting for maybe it to sync up, or maybe he knows that it could fail. It's nice. These rounds are basically 50 caliber, high pressurized, powdered rounds that can pierce armor on tanks, vehicles, and walls, and they can take the head off of an elite at 2,000 yards, to quote June from Noble Team. It's an impressive rifle. It's found its uses in a lot of places. In the games, it's set as a 4-round magazine, which is very shallow of a magazine. But in the lore, it can, I think they can have up as 10 and 20, depending on the rifle variant. And if you're about to ask, yes, it definitely looks like it's inspired by the 50 caliber Barrett. Boom! 2 of them down. Almost got the 3rd. He ducked just in time from the looks of it. The other guy's like, what the fuck? They're running because their numbers are cut down. They become more scared and less battle-hardened, and they just start running. By the way, it's been almost an hour, and I've talked about this for only 2... We've only watched about 2 minutes of it. I don't know how I'm going to compress this into a video for YouTube. I may just upload the whole thing and say, fuck it. So, alright, so this is the next good part. We've got Marines in the background, we've got ODSTs pushing up. This is obviously some kind of commanding over ODST. He has a commando Spartan helmet, which is not actually as lore-breaking as you would think, because the ODSTs, like we said, as I said before, they had dumbed-down versions of what the Spartans were getting. It's not uncommon for ODSTs, depending on the missions and their rank, to get better and better equipment that they can then pass down to their fellow troops or just keep themselves. In fact, some Spartans actually had shield generators. Some ODSTs got Spartan-grade shield generators for their armor, depending on the mission that they were needed for. So it's not entirely impossible for him to have a commando ODST variation of a Spartan helmet. In fact, I find it very plausible, and actually I like seeing it because it shows just how, sporadic upgrading and increasing the supply of their troops was, that sometimes it was just necessary to give Spartan-grade weapons or dumbed-down versions to ODSTs so they could keep up. Because just as our technology was advancing, so was the Covenant, and they were learning quite fast how to fight us on all fronts. He also has a round. He's got what seem to be flashbangs on him, which is actually very lore accurate. ODSTs and certain headhunter Spartans used flashbangs and EMPs to great effect against the Covenant. We've got Moran, we've got Medic. ODSTs picking up the in the background. Alright. Scroll it a little bit too far.
They're breaking! Push them back!
Push back. So these are medic Marines. You can tell by their whiter attitude, their red cross on their helmets and on other parts of their armor. They are still combat ready, by the way. They are carrying rifles. They are ready to fight at a moment's notice. They will fight and die for their fellow Marine. They are Doc. They are the squad medics. They usually come in a medic corps instead of just acheted to each squad because of just how quickly squads die. But they are still quite good at their job. They have specialized injections to speed up I think it's called localized healing, like but the biofoam. Not only can it seal in wounds, but it can also just increase circulation of certain areas. So if you if you lost blood pressure, it would then increase the blood count and stuff like that. This is probably some kind of adrenaline shot or something like that. You've got another man down here. This man took, from the looks of it, like some kind of leg or knee shot, but he's not too banged up. He's covered in blood up here, so maybe he took a headshot as well, or maybe he fell on his head. Maybe that's someone else's blood. Who knows? He's cocking his shotgun because we didn't, which is nice continuation, because he shot his shotgun to kill that skirmisher earlier, and then switched to the grenade launcher and fire. But he never actually reloaded, so he's jettisoning the empty cartridge and reloading. And this is what I mean, by the way, what's happening in this scene, where I mean like Spartans versus ODSTs. It's a one-sided fight for the ODSTs, but they're willing to put it to the ground, bury it, for the good of the fight against the Covenant.
Need a ride?
Need a ride? Deciding a shotgun. He seems to have picked up some kind of rocket. This is a Spanker. It's a 2-round rocket. It's quite effective. It's very powerful. It's a very nice rocket. It kills me lots of times in every version of Halo I've ever played, which is all of them. Halo CE and the Anniversary, Halo 2 and the Anniversary, Halo 3 and the remastered version of it that came out with the MC, ODST, and Halo 4, 5, and Infinite. I die quite often to rockets because I don't pay attention sometimes to where they spawn on maps. So I'll turn around a corner and sending to stab a dude with the energy sword, or I'll just expecting to shoot him in the head with a shotgun, and he'll be at the end of the corridor with this in his hands, being like, "No, you won't." Which, that's just how the game rolls. And even though they won this battle, this is the worst part about Halo, is that even though they won this battle, they're pushing the Covenant back to the other part of the city, which you can actually see some of the damage from here. So it's possible in that other fight that the city was damaged as much as I thought. You can see a Covenant carrier, some kind of cruiser, possibly a carrier variant, considering the amount of fighter craft around it. Over the city, getting shelled from anti-air emplacements around the city, but obviously he broke through the defenses over the planet, meaning that it's guaranteed that almost all of the frigates we saw in orbit earlier are probably destroyed. If this was able to sneak past them, because they would not have let it get past them without a fight. And yes, it's a sad thing, but it is, as we can see here, very much inside the city bounds. I would assume probably maybe they're searching for something in the city, because Covenant, they have a big hard-on for searching places and then immediately bombarding them with plasma if there's nothing of interest there. It's not a fun day. So those are anti-air, high-powered rail emplacements, or minigun-based sea whizzes, almost. You've got spirits? Yeah, they're spirit drop ships. So I'm assuming it's a cruiser, but maybe it's a carrier format, considering the amount of ships it's dropping, but also cruisers themselves just were basically giant carriers alone. So it's entirely possible it's just a regular carrier, a regular cruiser, and it's just unloading its ground troops to assault the city. You can hear the siren in the background, basically, hey, not great times, get to cover, get to shelters, get to established points of safety for pickup or defense. The the Seraphs we saw in orbit could also still be here, but spirits are the OG dropships of the Covenant. 2 different pods holding it as groups of Covenant, from grunts to jackals to Spartans and brutes and even hunters. They have a center tail gun here underneath that allows them to fire molten plasma at incoming enemies, which explodes, by the way. It's a energy-based weapon that explodes. And we've got phantoms. Ooh, alright. Oh, this is not too good. Oh, yep, no. Alright. Scroll it back just a little bit because I want to talk about this. These Marines are going to almost certainly all die. I'm going to say that right now. Just because of what they are doing. They are charging a lightly fortified, but still a fortified position of the Covenant. And that is usually death for the common Marine of the UNSC. Covenant do not like giving ground. They will fight to the death to make sure that you know you can't have it, even if it means that you lose 90% of their forces doing so. They are adamant that they will win any ground force, which, again, in the Halo universe, humans actually put up one hell of a fight on the ground. In space, we are outmaneuvered and outgunned by the sheer size and advancement in technology that the Covenant have. But on the ground, humans put up one hell of a fight. And as we're about to see, it's going to be a good fight, but yeah, I'm going to say most of these guys are going to die just because of the amount of enemies they're charging into. They've got some Spanker rockets. Got 2 rounds in it. I bet if you can land those hits, it'd be pretty good, but I don't think so. So CDO charging, you've got the phantoms. Sorry, ghosts. I don't know where my brain is going. Banshees coming in and doing a run and possibly dropping a bomb or 2 as well. See, considering the green explosion here, these guys are charging up. You've got one guy with a tac backpack, which is basically their advanced radio equipment for a long range. You got someone with a backpack on here and here, so maybe grenades or MREs or spare ammunition, something like that. And you've got these Covenant all have helmets. They're obviously fresh off the drop ships, ready for a fight. You've got these guys with swords ready to come in and charge. The elites, the Sangheili, as they're called, but as we call them, the elites. A single elite can kill an entire squad of Marines, cannon-wise. It's terrifying how powerful these guys are. They are near 7 feet on average, muscle-bound war machines. Their entire life is dedicated to war. They are the upper echelon of the Covenant Council. They make all the military reasons and decisions. They are de facto the head of the Covenant military, and they make you fear every step they take because they have so many weapons, so many skills that are just so advanced and above humans. It's just the thought of them showing up on a planet can scare the UNSC military, and it scares me. If I was a regular UNSC Marine, I would be fucking terrified. I mean, just seeing these, I know these Marines are going to die heavily. He's got a fuel rod cannon, which is 5 rounds. They can bounce the rounds off corners and stuff like that to explode in areas they want. And there's some plasma. Everywhere. They've now cornered themselves, quite literally in the corner of a building. And a Wraith, which is, if whoever's got the rocket, find that guy with the spanker, hit that thing now. Because the second that thing's in range, you're doomed. about to see. That was dead.
That rank is gonna kill us.
Oh! Damn! You got ammo? Oh! Okay, Spartan's alive. Yes! Okay. So as I said, I knew they were gonna die. It's a sad fact. You just can't keep up with elites. Humans, the average human can't keep up with an elite. They're terrifying how powerful they are. Instant comes on. Like, this elite takes so many rounds here, and his shields don't even pop. You can see his shield sparkling from the hits, but not going down. He eats about 14 rounds from that weapon counter, and his shields are still up. And he's just slowly, menacingly walking towards him. His entire thought process here is, I'm going to eviscerate you slowly, painfully. I will make you hate the fact that you even tried to fight me. They are terrifying. I'm just... And the Spartans and the ODSTs coming in for the save. Gunning them down. Not in time to save the Marines, sadly, though. Gunning down. You've got a shade turret here, which has shields inside, as well as these little armor turret things. And there are several different shade turrets. There's fuel rod shade turrets, and then there's regular shade turrets like this, which is like anti-air, anti-personnel, anti-everything, because it just shoots so many plasma bullets. You'll wish that you weren't a person. And I'm going to assume it's going to be eviscerated. Yeah! Okay.
Target.
So, just look at that animation, by the way. It's so cool. But he walks the bullets across the wall into that grunt, and then up into the shade turret. And then he just eviscerates it. That elite didn't know what was coming. And this little grunt watched it all and went, "What the fuck?" So the Wraith knows that there is a warthog on the ground, firing, killing its friends. It's going to fire a return. And these two ODSTs who, sorry, not ODSTs. Nope, those were regular Marines, not ODSTs. I'm sorry. These regular troops, these regular Marines were like, "Yeah, charge with the Spartan," and got immediately suckered by this Wraith. But this Spartan, I'm going to assume maybe the commander or leader of this group from the way he acts in comparison to everyone else, charging up with the Spanker rocket and is going to take aim and blast that fucking Wraith. Boom! Not even waiting. Sight down. That grunt on. The elite's like, "Get the fuck out there!" Like, attack them. And he just immediately gets domed by a sniper, by our sniper Spartan. And then this guy panics because not only did his leader just die, but he just watched something. He just watched an elite, saying Healy, the masters of the Covenant military, just insta-die against these new humans. And yeah, that would rightfully terrify me too. If I was standing next to a Spartan and they died instantly, I'd be terrified too.
Target down.
I like that voice. I guess Smanker's out of ammo.
Stretch him out.
Charging forward. ODST in the back. Moving forward.
Going in.
They've got backup.
Back up. Banshees. Yeah! Use that thing on for protection. All protection. Break down. So that's perfect. So he's got a jetpack. So not only is he a hell jumper, but he is a flying hell jumper. As in, like, he can jump around and do stuff. I wonder if we'll see that. the Banshees are causing problems because not only can they hit, but they are hard to hit because of how fast they are. But he, on the ground, these guys are just mowing down what's left of the defenses. Probably moving to their next objective. I don't know what it's going to be, but considering they're Spartans, we can narrow it down. With Spartans, it's probably something to do with either civilian evacuation or strategic military place. I'm going to assume, because this is Reach, it's probably not civilian anymore. It's probably going to be some kind of military installation, maybe to effectively do cold protocol, which, if you don't know, cold protocol is basically the protocol where you wipe a computer system. Usually wipe it down to nothing, but specifically you target any information that could lead them to Earth or any other colonies or any other UNSC installations, in that order. The Covenant, even though this is Reach, which is the doorstep of Earth, the Covenant could not learn the location of more human worlds. As hard and as fast as they were hitting us, we would not let them take any information from us if we could help it. Ooh, the little stack up in the lean, I like it.
Clear. In position. Right behind you.
Oh, I love that. I want to just like show this real quick. The effective stack up here, where he's leaning around he's like ready to charge up the wall. These two guys are ready, and he's like checking behind them. That is actually how the military kind of does it. I don't know if they still do stacking outside of training drills from videos you watch on the internet and stuff like that, but it looks more realistic in this shot than any military movie I've ever seen, which is efficient, especially considering this is, again, all done by one guy, Sodaz. Please check out his Twitter, his YouTube, and his Patreon. Please go follow him. Please go subscribe, and just, all the love to this dude. He did all of this, again, 25 minutes of content that I have now broken out into an hour and 20 minutes. I can't break this down any more. I have to just keep watching. But I love it. Little walk there, charging down. It's so nice. They've all got the, and also just the devastation here. You've got elites, grunts, all dead. You got a looks like a Marine and another Marine. So they probably fell back from this place at some point. Damn, I love this. Ah! Oh, those are nice brutes. It's like a cross between Halo Reach and Halo 2 brutes. I've got some dead Marines here. So that's a brute shot, and that's a plasma rifle. See, they carry it like it's just a pistol almost. Like a fully auto pistol. Now, I bet if this is a military installation, either they just got it, or they were fighting with the elites, because the Covenant also has factions. Jackals don't, the Kikiar don't like the grunts, the Ungoi. The elites don't like the Jackal or the Ungoi, but they really hate the brutes, the Jirahane. And the Jirahane hate everyone and see them as food. Which, yes, here's a terrifying thought. In terms of which enemy I would like to be captured by, between a elite or a brute, I would take the elite every day, because I know it'd be a horrendous death where my flesh would be peeled off until my secrets were sung to the stars to hear. But eventually I would die, and my body would then be destroyed. The brutes, they eat their captives. Sometimes alive. Yeah. Yeah, that's a thing. I hate the brutes. Oh, that's a really good picture of a skirmisher. See, he's got like all these feathers that are almost like hair. His bone structure's different. the suit he's got, and just like the overall appearance is like so much different. I don't know why. I don't know what makes these two different Kig-Yar so different from each other. Maybe they grew up on different planets. Maybe they're from different areas of their planet. Who knows? It's just so cool that there's such a different variation. Ooh, and the knife! I didn't see that coming. And the silent SMGs. Ah, DMR! Not a time limit, buddy. Ooh, one shot each, so he's pretty good. Pressing fire. Immediately landing on these brutes. The brutes immediately returning fire. Notice how the brutes are by themselves for the most part. They don't have any backup outside those few grunts and a jackal. So I'm starting to think like they either just got here or they had a fight with the elites that this was their area and they didn't know what to do with it afterwards. So that was pretty effective fire right there, just up the body. The bullets just travel up the body, and then her fire immediately transfers to fight to him. The brute shot is basically a semi-automatic grenade launcher, by the way. It's very powerful, it hurts a lot, and it's nice. It also acts as a giant blade, because the second half of the gun is just a giant blade. It's there's no other words for it. It's a grenade launcher with a giant fucking blade on it. Ooh, the one shot which ends the pin, so he's probably out of bullets in that. Oh, the ODSTs are here, so maybe it's something the ODSTs were searching for and the Spartans are backup? Who knows? I guess we're gonna find out in a second. Those pastors. Ooh, and we got the elites and one grunts.
Get out.
And see, this is again what I mean. Like, the plasma rifle is misnomered. This thing is a pistol. A one-handed SMG at best in the hands of an elite. He's about to throw something. He's throwing, oh, power of Spartans. Oh, and this is what I meant by like medics having cores. Like, see, these are all dead medics. These are 2 deck medics and I think a civilian. Oh, are we gonna see some ODST night action? Please tell me we're gonna see some ODST night action. Yes, the little like, jeez. Oh, and take out the lights so you can't see. Flashback. And okay, so I just want to talk about this real back. So this is what I mean by ODSTs being the fear, like bringing real fear to the Covenant. You don't couldn't even see what was coming towards them. These guys are like, if the Spartans are demons, these guys are the boogeyman.
I'm moving.
Ooh, okay, let's just take a quick look at this. ODST 910880 objective 80 system recovery. Okay, so they're going to recover a system ROK, Rook 6073 ++ a jumble of numbers. Night log at system online. So night goggle system online, so they're seeing in the dark. So he's got the HUD upline. Delta 12, it's probably his unit. Kimco 12010. Time. So, oh hey, so SODAZ. Sodaz. I don't know if that's a titular or not, but that's his name right there. 814. Guar 620. I don't know what these numbers specifically mean. I'm assuming this is a date and time, or a time limit of some kind. So 18:36:24. So hour, minute, second, probably. Ooh, and that nice little switch. And here is the second drop ship that the Covenant used, the Phantoms, the more terrifying variation of the of drop ships that they use. Phantoms can hold a lot more than Spirits. They have a cannon here, and also when these arms come out, they have turrets on them that can fire down. And each one of these little like spherical pods things you see here are gravity generators, allowing them to fly. But this tunnel here and these sides allow them to drop out of them in a fight. It is terrifying. Phantoms are just that, phantoms. Look at the firepower that thing is throwing down right there. Okay, that's a hunter. I need to take a look at that. Alright, so this is a hunter. Mech-Golo. So this looks like one heavy beast, right? And it is, but this is not actually one creature. This is actually a bundle of worms. And no, I'm not joking. The Mech-Golo are a hive mind of worm creatures that could be anywhere in size from this to feet long. They work in tandem to power up technology. They are able to interface and control technology because the places that they grew up in and evolved in involved Forerunner technology that they were able to basically track. They are, I don't know exactly what they eat, but I know they are attracted to electricity, energy of any form. So, the Covenant is basically able to train them to put on these armor and these weapons and fight for them. And while these look like eyes, they're actually sensors for the gun. And for the Queen, which is somewhere in here and is hard to get to. And one of the ways Spartans like to kill these things is by shoving a grenade into the center. Or hitting them with rockets until they go down and stay down. Because regular bullets are hard to kill these things, because even if you kill a couple of the worms, if you don't take the Queen, the rest of it can move. They come in pairs. They're terrifying and powerful, and I would not want to fight these things at any time. In every situation, I would not want to fight these things, unless I had overwhelming firepower, which is often what is necessary for the regular Marines to fight these things with, is rocket launchers and a lot of grenades and bullets. Some kind of server room, dead man, error code. I can't really read that. Is this on? It's not on. Oh, we've not been watching on 1080p the entire time. I'm actually kind of disappointed in myself. So what they just jammed in is a pocket pad of some kind, a tech pad or a universal computer pad that a lot of Spartans, UNSC, ODSTs, and Marines carry. It's basically like a mini computer, just like a cell phone is for us. It usually comes with a set of code breaking tools, if they're like ODSTs specifically, so they can crack into systems that they normally wouldn't be able to have access to, and to input codes and transmissions and stuff like that. Seismic activity, so some kind of planet. Something's digging up the planet. Air systems online. Air system online. Oh, okay, so I'm assuming we've got some kind of Seawick or anti-air system that's going to help fight those phantoms in a second. And it is powerful. Ooh, I like how it's not the regular plasma cannon you would see in Halo 3 or Reach or 4. It's the Halo 2 variation, where it's a mounted location that you can't take off. Ooh, and here's the CWIS I was talking about. It is basically a giant Gatling gun. Yeah! Heavy explosive rounds just ripping that freaking Phantom apart. Yeah, be pissed, be pissed. Oh, yeah. The Marines coming up with the rest of the with the rest of the Spartans and possibly more ODSTs. Bring enough pain. Let's kick their asses, guys. Oh! Knife through the jaw, up into the brain, insta-death. So, a thing you don't see in the games, but you see a lot in the comics and in the novelizations of the story, is that the plasma cannons are actually just a lot like plasma torpedoes in that they can be tracked and they can go over obstacles and down, which is what we just saw with them angling so it would curve and hit these poor Marines. So I'm assuming they're going to have to take those. Hunters! Yep. Oh, and she's charging in with just a pistol and he's switching to his assault rifle. Let's see what these guys are going to do. The speed of a grenade. Okay, so she threw a grenade back there. So look at the fucking speed of a Spartan. These guys are so fast. They have, I think it's like 10 times. Spartan 2 has like something like 10 times the reaction speed and strength of a regular human. So fast that they had to create a separate time tracker for them called Spartan time, where it's basically slowed down, like what you and me would think as like slow-mo vision. But for them, it's just everyone else is moving slow and they're moving fast, or regular speed. Spartan 3s, I don't know if they still have Spartan time like Spartan 2s, but they are still overwhelmingly fast. In Halo Reach, we see them use these utility devices that allow them to sprint faster than normal and do other things like jetpacks, armor lock, and stuff like that. It's impressive just the utility that Spartan 3s were able to be modulated and increased over time. But she's charging in. I think she's about to throw a grenade. She's got a pistol, and I'm assuming she's probably going to try and get in there and just shoot it either in the face or in the back as hard as possible. While he's probably going to charge in. I don't know. I don't actually know what he's going to try and do with that assault rifle. Maybe just try and like loop it around. Dodge that. Slide under. Holy. Yeah, just lay into its back. Magnum that shithead. Dodges the sniper shot seems to have gotten the queen though. Just instant, either through the head or in the back there. Let's see if we can scroll back a second and see. In the back, just like straight through the carapace, it looks like. Taking it down. Yeah, nice. Now, just like brutes, hunters come in pairs, and they don't like the death of their friends. Yes! Dude, that's so cool! One-handed an assault rifle into its back. Oh, you got a grenade? Yes! Like I said, the Spartans seem to do this everywhere. In the comics, in the novelizations of the books, in that Forward Unto Dawn show, and now here. They just, it's just, I guess it's an effective way. Shove a grenade in there, the queen's not going to be able to run away. Rips it. Thumbs up. Thanks for the save. With the more of the city's anti-air up, we can attack and fight. So maybe the Brits did actually know, they just didn't know how to access it. Rip them apart. Yeah! We got the USP coming in with support. So we've got... So they've pushed through part of the city, retaken an air defense system, putting the firepower back into the sky to keep the Covenant from landing more troops, allowing for UNSC air support to come in real quick and deliver much needed aid, and I'm assuming probably take wounded and civilians, if there are any civilians left in this area of the city, out as quickly as possible, because this area is going to be persona non grata for any human beings real quick. And from the sounds of it, he just got his new orders to move on to the next location. Because the life of a Spartan is never over. The life of a Spartan is just one continuous fight. And I mean that in all seriousness. They are owned by the UNSC. They basically have no lives, for the most part, outside of fighting the Covenant. And our heroes trudge through the night in a city under siege. ODST staring into a city at war, an occupied city, rain coming down, some smooth jazz in the background. It's Halo 3 ODST all over again. Sorry, it's a little nostalgia for me. I just like parts like this. City is still putting up one health fight now. Troops dead. That's another medic.
Spread out. Scrub the area. Taking one.
That was not the way.
You thinking what I'm thinking? Yeah. War's hell.
Yeah, war is hell. So those are civilians, probably evacuees that were trying to get somewhere safe, and they were gunned down from the looks of it by Covenant and then moved on to another area. These are Spartan 3s, so this also hits home to them for more than the average Spartan or soldier, not just because it's more dead humans, but again, Spartan 3s are orphans of war that were indoctrinated into the UNSC's purpose, but they are more likely than not orphans from the Covenant War and from the insurrection. So the thought of dead civilians, dead parents, is it's a callback to their origin, and it probably tugs at their heartstrings more than the average person, because they could, even as these giant super soldiers, could not save them.
There was so many.
It's not just for the story, by the way, but also just Sodaz doing an amazing job here, giving the Spartans character with very few lines of dialogue, more with their actions and how they view the world around them. It's... Man, if only a multi-million-dollar studio could put in this much fucking effort for a Halo TV show. The fact that one fan was able to do all of this is, wow. It says something, doesn't it?
Over here, Spartan.
Found someone? A Marine medic? Or, no, not a medic, that's a aircom unit of some kind. So, attack basically. Oh, some civilians that seem to are hurt, but maybe survived.
You okay?
Call it in.
Unknown station, this is Gamma 1 Actual. Do you read? Over. Gamma 1 Actual.
Ah, it is Reach. Orbital scan, UNSC, Reach.
This is Iron Fist. We read you. What is the current state of facility Alpha 331? Facility Alpha 331 is overrun and offline. Defense grid and zone uniform Delta is running at starvation levels.
Starvation runs basically meaning they have no ammunition or next to no ammunition and power and manpower as well. Overrun just means that. It's overrun, everyone's dead. Scroll a little bit back to the start of this when they call in.
Unknown station. This is Gamma 1 act.
Unknown station. Basically, they know someone's in the area, hopefully, calling out for some kind of help for maybe pickup for these civilians and maybe just general exfil, because this is not going well.
Do you read? Over. Gamma 1 actual. This is Iron Fist.
This is basically the UNSC version of calling in the blind. Basically, you have no idea who's going to respond, but you're trying to hopefully get someone of importance.
Read you. What is the current state of facility Alpha 331? Facility.
I kind of like how it's coming through radio. Like we're on the ground hearing it, but we're seeing his mouth move. It's kind of nice.
Alpha 331 is overrun and offline. Defense grid and zone uniform Delta is running at starvation levels. If you're taking survivors, we've got a few. Negative Gamma, we are en route to support Beta Red. Any word on their status? None. Over. Acknowledged. There's a temp evac station west along your current vector at uniform Delta 0089 or 6 to 89 or 8.
I don't think he made any of this dialogue. I think this is just straight up in-game dialogue from a Halo game.
7. I'll let him know you're coming.
No, so he's letting the evac know that there are survivors on their way. If they can wait, they should wait. If they can hold out, they can hold out for them to get there. Basically, the way the UNSC is operating this late into the war is basically first come, first served, second served, none. They will not wait for survivors to get there because they don't have the option. They don't have the military power anymore, especially at this point in the war for just Reach, let alone the war in general, to waste resources on a hold point that may never see civilians. So they will take what they can get and then evac. As we see, they've made it. We've got, these look like medics, the medic marines, so definitely a evac point waiting for survivors and people of success. I think these are also not just medic marines. I think these are also Air Force or Navy marines based on their pilot helmets. Probably a combination of both.
Never thought I'd see this many Spartans.
Let's get this thing moving, huh?
They always say that. We never thought I'd see this many Spartans. They always say that. 4 civilians, it looks like. A couple lines. Better than nothing. Oh, I don't like that. Oh! Okay, so here's the next part that I didn't talk about earlier when I was talking about the elites being terrifying because of their ability to kill entire squads of Marines. They're able to do that while not being seen because they have active camouflage, which is very good, and they are very sneaky, and they like to play the boogeyman. And I'm assuming we're going to see real quick. I do like how he put the stomps in with the music from the second part of Winter Contingency from Halo Reach, if I remember correctly. The dun, dun, dun. It's like a combat music loop. It's really nice.
What the hell?
You can see we have, this is a space-born version of the elites with a airtight helmet, airsuit. They sometimes have jetpacks and things like that on their body, so they are able to jump around the city and other environments quite quickly. Ooh, he's got a... Guards down.
Oh, hell no!
And taken out right before you can call out. So as we saw, he killed... Jesus, I missed 2 hours. Hi, Ottaway. Oh, don't worry. We've still got like 10 more minutes. We got 14 more minutes. I'm sure I can extend this for another 2 hours. Good God, when I make a video of this for YouTube, I'm gonna have to make specific points and not talk about other things because it's been nearly 2 hours and we're only 11 minutes into this video.
We got company!
Spartan immediately turns around and just starts firing, which is the smart thing because if they're invisible, you can't see them, so just start shooting and hope you hit them. And a firing line, and then his active camouflage is knocked out, so now he's got to hide. Oh, on the way, by the way, this is a fan animation of Halo Reach called Remember. It's by Sodaz. The links are in the pinned comment. It's his Twitter, his Patreon, and his YouTube. Please give him a look. He's amazing. He's done other stuff like Stalker, and I think he did a really cool Titanfall video and stuff like that. You should check out if you like action fan animations. So now they're trapped behind these two walls, as we can see, and they are waiting. So I assume they're going to probably call for backup or maybe just charge because they're elites and they never was into Halo content. Oh no way! How could you do this to me? Basically fall back. Get the fuck out of here. As I said earlier, the ODST at this point in the war is just like they can't wait. They can't waste resources on things that may never happen. So he's immediately, get the civilians out of here. We'll find our own way out. And as the color of this one is gray, white versus the green, black, it's definitely not a Marine. So this is definitely Navy. So that makes more sense now. Yeah, it's not just a checkpoint. I never played Halo. It wasn't appealing to me. On the way. Right in the heart, right in the feels. And we've got a commander, or a general, maybe based by his armor. A higher ranking saying Healy, an elite. About to call hell down on these poor humans. And there goes the music. Oh, and that fucking spin dive. Hang on, I need to see that again. What the hell? You can't make the Covenant this cool. I hate the Covenant. You can't make them this cool. I can't root for the bad guys. Double laser plasma swords. Or energy swords, sorry. And he's got some just laser. This Marine, one of the Navy Marines, calling out there's too many. And I assume the Spartan's basically being like, go get the ship ready because we're not going to be able to hold this for very long. Yep. Oh, God. Even it's just a wall of guns firing on these Covenant, and they are still just charging in like no tomorrow. The music in the background, by the way, I love this soundtrack from Halo Reach. It's so nice when you're going through the abandoned relay site, and you hear this in the background as you fight through the Covenant. Oh! Cut and shoot. Damn. Alright, hang on. So this guy immediately cuts down a Marine and is probably firing on one. This other guy has his shield popped, immediately comes and just cuts a Marine in half. and moves in to try and cut this Spartan in half just as well. And this Spartan just fucking YOLO dodges. Boom, and just moves to the side. Well, Spartan in the background with his shotgun immediately blasts that guy's shields off. You can see the little sparks. It's so nice. I love every second of it. It's like a free cam. Sniper in the background. Takes out one headshot. Double tap just to make sure they're dead. ODST is dead, and the other one is knocked down by this Ultra. He really wants it. Gotta get up. Gotta get up, ODST. Gotta defend fire.
Go, go, go!
Out of ammo. Ooh! Sneaky bastards. No, come on! Oh, you can't do this. Spartan down! Slow-mo. Death coming in. See, this is the worst part about the energy swords that the Covenant use, just like a lot of their weapons, is if it doesn't immediately kill you, it's a slow, agonizing death. Because the energy sword specifically, it cuts in and it rips you apart, but it's so hot it cauterizes also as it comes out. So if they do it slow enough, you die from the pain just as much as the trauma of what it hits you, let alone the actual blood loss. It's quite a terrifying weapon. Oh, and you got... There was cylindrical... you got the... what's the term for it? You've got the receding bolt right there. Fires down. Spartan's down. Fall back. This is actually kind of a good show right here. You've got Marines on the ship holding, and then you've got Marines in front of the ship holding as like a fallback as Marines charge back. Oh, this is not going good. Are we gonna lose more Spartans? Oh! This weapon's damaged. Hey! Falcon support.
Firing on multiple positions.
Chain guns are good. Yeah. Alright, so hang on. The quick fire on that, but also blast off of the main thrusters for the bottom, but also the main thruster is going to fire in a second here as the door closes. Immediately turning to the chaos of the interior of the cabinet as they try and save the Spartan, which I don't know if you can. Like, she just got stabbed through the chest. I think her heart got taken out by one of those swords. And
It's in. Alright. Just hang on, Spartan. We're almost back to base.
you ain't gonna be able to save her. And then the ever-looming threat. No matter how many victories they perform, the Covenant is always there to make them lose. In the end, they will never win. I just want to talk about that real quick. It's the nice show of weight, because the Spartans, not only are they weighty in the story and in the game and the comics and all that stuff, but they're carrying around an armor set that literally weighs a ton. It is literally titanium they are carrying on themselves. They weigh a ton. It's terrifying sometimes when you think of just how powerful these things are and how quickly they can still die in comparison to you. Those heavy steps. Oh. So you got the remaining 4 ODSTs. This seems to be like some kind of commander based on the armor insignias. And then this was the ODST who got hurt. And that the Spartan gave her life to try and save him for. Well, not tried, she did save him. That's gotta weigh heavily on him. Oh no. Yeah. In lore and in the game, Spartans don't die, they just go missing in action. It's a rule that Spartans are never labeled as dead by the UNSC, by ONI, or by any group because of morale reasons. And also because there are actual events where Spartans were dead or killed and were able to be brought back to life at later times through advancements in technology. Parts of Red Team were actually died during augmentation and were put on ice and were later unfrozen and actually were able to be resuscitated, so they were able to live. Gray Team is also a good show of Spartans because their entire thing for Oni is long-range dark missions where no one knows where they are, no one knows what they're doing, and you can't label them dead until you find their bodies, and even then you wouldn't label them dead because that hurts morale. And Gray Team is, well, they're not just morally gray, they are also just straight up insane, some of them. And all quite deadly because they are Spartan 2s. And when they show up, it's usually to rain devastation around everything around them. Ooh, and that's glassing, by the way, in the background. That is the Covenant glass. That is their main cannon. Their boring it's both a boring weapon, as in it deeps down and excavating, but it also is a main weapon allowed to destroy the organic life on a planet. The finality of death, even when you save so many people in the city, you still lose. Oh. That city's gone. Finality.
I told them, hey mom, I spent 8 years on this degree, but I hate it, and I really want to change jobs. I'm sorry, I know.
I didn't come here for the ads. I came, didn't come here for ads. I came here to watch Halo content.
Overlord, this is Eagle 1. We're returning to the Pillar of Autumn. Solid copy, Eagle 1.
Pillar of Autumn. Okay, so Pillar of Autumn is the ship from the first game. It's also your end point in Halo Reach, as it is the start of Halo CE, Combat Evolved. It is important because the Pillar of Autumn not only has Captain Keyes' personal ship, but it is also the ship that discovers Halo, carries the Master Chief and Cortana, and basically kicks off the main games. It is important. So all of these ships are apparently flying off to the Pillar of Autumn, which at this point Reach is basically less about fighting the Covenant and more about just holding ground long enough for the last of the to get as much of their forces off planet as possible to retreat to other systems. The planet is basically owned by the Covenant at this point. They are going to lose it, and they know it with every fiber of their being, but they are still going to fight. Again, I said that there were several things that humans were really good in the Halo universe, and it's the ingenuity to adapt and reverse engineer technology, the courage to stand up in the face of insurmountable odds that you cannot win, and this is, I would say, a lot of points. My personal take on Halo is that the humanity in Halo is a lot more grimdark than Warhammer 40k, which is known as the grimdark, space genre. And what I mean that is that in Warhammer 40k, there are entire worlds just dedicated to pleasure. You as a human being may never get there, but they exist. There are also giant agri worlds where it's just grew farm. There's no chaos, there's no demons, there's no insurrectionist crazy shit happening there. Of course, there are fortress worlds and forge worlds and giant metroplex cities that are invaded by demons and aliens and mutants and all that stuff. But the Empire, despite all its the Imperium, despite all its failings in the Warhammer 40k, never really loses so much that it's going to fall apart. Of course, newer lore that's coming out after the fall of Cadia shows that the galaxy's been split in half by the warp, and that chaos is reigning powerful. But the Empire is still there. The Imperium is still fighting and standing and just going about daily life. They've lost a lot of worlds, but also they discover new worlds of lost humanity all the time. So it's not too horrific. Small setbacks for a future. The humans in Halo have no future up until Halo 3. The humans in Halo are outnumbered, outgunned, and the technological scale in comparison to them and the Covenant is so massive that they can't even theorize it. The greatest minds of humanity knew that the Covenant would win. It was just a matter of time and resources needed. In space, the humans are like confetti in face of a storm. They do not survive impact. On the ground, humanity has a much larger chance because of just enforced emplacements and just the amount of people they can throw at the Covenant. But it doesn't matter how well you win ground-wise when the Covenant just win in space and bombard your planet into ash and dust. Humanity at the time of the Human Covenant War starting in 2525 was 800 worlds strong and something like 2.3 trillion people across all of the worlds. By 2549, I believe it is, nearly 30 years of war. No, it's 2552. Sorry, I got my years wrong. Over 30 years of war, the UNSC is a handful of worlds with Reach, the planet we are watching right now, a fortress world on the doorstep of Earth being basically owned by the Covenant. At this point, humanity's survival is not even a question. It is answered, and the answer is, we will not survive the Covenant. We will die to these genocidal assholes. We have lost. And And it's a terrifying thought process that no matter how hard these guys fight right here in this battle, even if they win against whatever Covenant force is coming towards them, they are not going to be on the Pillar of Autumn that is leaving the planet. They are here so others can live for a few more days. They are set to die. And they go boldly. It's a terrifying thought process. It's grimdark. So that's my take. Let's get back to the show. Scorpion tanks. UNSC's main battle tank. It's a smaller gun than you would think, but it's an auto gun, which has manual. It doesn't have a manual load or a crew operated. You can pilot a Scorpion with one person, which makes it quite impressive. ODST and Spartan. A lot of Marines. These aren't regular Marines. These appear to be Army variant Marines, based on their helmets and everything. Their helmets and their attire. The Army Marines, the Army soldiers, and the Marines for the Navy are very juxtaposed in the UNSC. They have a lot of similar armor. You really only can tell from the tags, which I don't know actually if these are the correct tags for the Army or the Marines, but they look slightly different than the Marines that we were seeing earlier with the much darker greener armor.
Alliance, this is Hunter 5-1. Reinforcements have arrived at Charlie Alpha 4-3. I repeat, the Spartan team has arrived. We are clear to return to the evac point. It's been an honor, Spartans.
And as I said, they don't expect to live, but they're still going to be here. This is how important the Pillar of Autumn was, that these Spartans were sent here to die, to hold this planet as long as possible, this part of the planet as long as possible, for other people to live. Spartans. This is the power that Spartans had. Like, they were heroes.
Yeah.
I found a bigger fucking gun. Like, you have a shotgun and a grenade launcher, and you had a machine gun on the back of Warthog. And now you have a fucking just an LMG. Do you not have enough guns, my sir?
Oh, smart.
Distance first, sniper. So these are ghosts. These are basically both Covenant recon craft for the ground, but also their attack craft. They are fast moving, have auto guns on the front, and can be driven by basically every Covenant member race. Kind of raid. Runs. My god, look at the Wraith. Such a nice Halo texture. Oh, and it's Brute Chieftain. You can tell by the way his helmet is forced and the fact that he's carrying a gravity hammer. I bet he has shields too, unlike his friend. And some elites in the background.
Stay alert. Defend this house.
I love this music. Fire! Spanker. By the way, it's literally I've said it several times throughout this video, but the grenade launcher is literally called the Spanker. They named the grenade launcher the Spanker. I don't care what you say. They knew what they were doing when they called it that. Yeah! And now they charge. Phantoms and more Banshees up ahead. Gonna cause some problems. Auto turrets, the anti-air, Sea-Wiz almost Gatling guns. Bringing down the pain, bringing down the hurt on these fuckers. More of them! Brutes, nothing really to talk about there. Ooh, and I guess they had... I saw him pick it up before. I assumed it was going to be bringing down rocks, but they were hidden in the ground from the looks of it. Maybe should have waited on those till you had a couple more enemies in the cross line or a wraith. Eat it! It's a wall of guns! Die, you bastards! Yeah. So it's only, I think, a 90mm cannon. It's not a very big cannon, all things considered, but it's an effective gun against the Wraith and what the Covenant could field. Its smaller size meant that they could deploy more of them, and it also meant that it was able to move into specific areas that bigger cannons and bigger tanks wouldn't have been able to. Its all-terrain features of having 4 of these 4 treads made that it could go basically across any terrain. And the fact that it's loaded by a computer in the back and by mechanisms when those fail, allowing one person to operate the whole tank by themselves meant that you could field squads of these battalion-sized tanks and not have to waste dozens upon dozens of Marines or engineers operating them. And one of their favorite rounds is a depleted uranium round with armor-piercing tips. It also had high explosive rounds and armor-piercing explosive rounds. Yes, these things were badasses. Snipers. Boom! Take out that jackal. Oh! The sound of his shields being down and lost health. Ooh, he's cracked. He's got cracks in his armor. He's down. Did he lose his... I don't know if he can get to a sniper rifle. Get up. Oh, that's his shield. Uh-oh. Hunter is raining down fire. More of these skirmishers coming in with their plasma. This is again what I meant by, like, it doesn't matter what the UNSC fields against them, they just keep coming. And she's got it. Let me deal with the crazy fuckers up the mountain with my jetpack. You deal with the guys in front of us and keep the Marines alive. Spartan charging forward! Buying times for those Marines to aim their shots and keep the enemy from coming in. I kind of just want to... He seems to be reloading that rifle. Yeah, charging forward. And this guy lost his helmet and kept going and then immediately took a shot to the head. Boom, right there. Go! Come on! God, it's so cool. Sodaz does such an amazing job. I don't know how to describe it other than fucking flawless. It's so cool. The fluidly, the way these Spartans feel like they're heavy, like they have force, like they weigh a ton, because their armor does weigh a fucking ton, but they are still agile and fast enough to move so fluidly on the battlefield and so quickly. Just like overall, it's so nice. Just slides under as the brute tries to use his spiker rifle as like a machete, basically, with those knives on it, to try and take off his head. And he just slides under it, immediately fires at someone charging in front of him, just turns around, boom, takes out his leg, makes him drop, opens his mouth, and just lays into his face. Just like 6 bullets right into his face, just gone, just dead. Damn! It's so cool! Those spike, the spiker is a terrifying weapon, because it's unlike the needler, which lodges a needle in you, which causes you pain and can explode. The spiker is armor-piercing bone rounds. It's like a metal rod, like this big, that just, it can pierce armor. It pierces flesh. It locks you into things, basically. It can nail you to walls in the ground and keep you pinned there so it can charge and kill you its own way. Like that. And the spiker is now lodged, the spike is now lodged in him. Yeah! And she's dual wielding SMGs, I love it. Oh no, the air, if the anti-air gets taken out, they're going to be overrun by phantoms. Come on, man, go for it. Yes! Just take out his knee and immediately stab him in the chest. While firing, is he going to fire from the other gun? Yep. Yep. Magazine empty. Loaded in one. The ODSTs basically, I guess they're going to charge in and help the Spartans here. ODSTs, as I've said, I am basically an ODST shillboy. I love these fuckers. They are the Delta Force, the Rangers, the Airborne. They are everything combined into one badass group. And they honestly deserve more love. I love this. Take that rocket, take that spanker, and blow that fucking wraith up. Oh, the head! And that is a brute spike grenade, which sticks into objects and then explodes into spikes, as we're about to see, I'm assuming. Boom! Yes! Go Spartans! Oh. But your anti-air is down, which means those phantoms are gonna overrun you. God damn, I hate these freaking Covenant. Enemy dead! Incoming! Round 2, motherfuckers. God, I hate it. Oh, God. The Marines never even put there. Come on. See, as crazy as this is, I would still choose the Spartans over the elites, because the Spartans are going to kill you regardless of how many it takes. How much it takes to kill you. They're not going to let go. Oh! Chieftain, no! Yes! Shut him down! Come on! Get up! Spartan, you're not dead yet. You're not out of the fight. Get up and fight! Come on! Yes! No! No! Her shield got taken out by a skirmisher using their plasma rifle, and she got hit in the back by those freaking needle rifle rounds from another jackal. And then smacked by the freaking hunter. Ugh. Come on. No! 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 Oh! His neck. Cross. No. Come on! ODSTs are here! Got your back! Fight on! Come on! Keep going! Don't let them take you without maximum haste! Yes! No! You bastards! I hate you. Yes! Right! The Pillar of Honor. Okay. So this is the end of Halo Reach, by the way. This is Noble 6 firing, following the coil gun. A localized mounted smaller version of a mass driver. Hitting this, Covenant ship while it shields it down because it's firing its glassing ray. Boom! The fight's not over, Spartans. And that would be the Pillar of Autumn escaping with the Master Chief and Cortana on board, on their way to get the fuck out of Reach because the planet is sadly gone. I'm not crying. I'm not. I'm just so freaking happy. Sodaz, you did an amazing job. As a Halo fan, I can't tell you how amazing this makes me feel that you, one guy, was able to capture everything I love about Halo in one 25-minute video. That I have now been sat here talking for over 2 hours of content for this. It's just, you're an amazing animator. I don't want you to stop animating. I want you to keep going because you, as a single person, did something that a multi-million-dollar media studio could not do when it came to the Halo TV show. You, as a single person, understand Halo better than everybody at 343 Industries right now. Better than everyone at Paramount TV who built that piece of shit TV show. You are, in fact, just so awesome, man. I don't have the words. I want everyone who sees this at any point in your life to go to Sodaz's channel on YouTube, to go to his Patreon, go to his Twitter. Tell this man how good of a job he did, because as a Halo fan, I have fallen in love with Halo again. When this stream ends, I'm probably gonna go play Halo Reach again. And I'm gonna play Halo 3 and Halo 2 and Halo ODST. And maybe I'll play 4 and 1 again as well. Maybe I'll just go through the whole thing. Who knows? I am in love again with Halo because a fan like Sodaz could create something so genuinely amazing by himself. It is quite honestly, there aren't words for it. Just check this guy out, please. Check out Sodaz's stuff. He did a Titanfall video. Oh god, just look at them all. Those ODSTs were so brave, charging out into the field to take that Wraith. And then when the Spartans started going down, when it was all lost, they stood up, tried to help the Spartan fight back. Don't give up. That was their message. That was their last fight. They gave it their all, and oh god. Frickin' elites, you bastards. Huh? She lived! I don't think he did, though. She lived. And then on to Halo CE. The Pillar of Autumn. By the way, this ship is over a mile long. And she's still considered a small ship in comparison to the New Covenant. There he is. The legendary Halo music I love it. See his little animation as thank you for Patreon. I'm serious. If you have hang on, sorry. If you have the time, please, 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 please go to his YouTube channel. He's done Titanfall, he's done Stalker, he's got some Doom and Fallout stuff, and he's done a couple one short, I think. It's just like this project is so cool. He does little funny gags and stuff like that. You guys should check him out. It's so freaking cool. He has a Patreon, $2, $5, and $8 a month. I'm going to put $2 to him because I don't have much money right now, but I'm going to put $2 just to like show my appreciation of you, Sodaz. Here's his Twitter. The links are in the pinned comment. I'm going to quickly copy and paste again. Just like check him out, please. This content was amazing. I loved every second of it. It's just there's nothing to say for it. All right. It was 2.5 hours of me gushing over a 20-minute video, 25-minute video. Not the best content, but better than nothing today. Not maybe your content, but it was my content. I love this stuff. I love Halo. This probably won't become a regular thing. I don't really like doing reviews and breakdowns. I'm not good at it. It's the fact that this was a 25-minute and it took me 2 hours to go down through it. But yeah, it's just so fucking cool. So, you know, like and subscribe. Please, please, please check out Sodaz's stuff. He's such a cool dude. He does such cool animations. Even if you can't donate to his Patreon, subscribe to his YouTube. Follow him on Twitter. Shout him out. Let people see how cool this stuff is. And stuff like that. Just, you know, from one Halo fan to a great animator like you, Sodaz, you made my day. I'm gonna go play Halo now. that's the end of it. I'm gonna go play Halo Reach and just go down through the Halo games canonically. All right, see you guys later.